Disclaimer. To the Pharisees and Karens out there.
How dare you!
All guests on this show do not reflect the opinions of the host. The purpose of this show is to have interesting conversations, stretch our minds, and grow.
Not what we want!
If you are looking for an echo chamber, viewer and listener discretion
is advised.
You talk about extreme.
What is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we're about to fill it up.
Torches high.
Look at it from a different perspective.
Hey guys, what is happening and what is up? Hold out that glass, baby, because you know what time it is, because we about to fill it up. Welcome to the Prometheus Lens Podcast, the place where the conversations are always enlightening. I'm your host, Doc Brown, and here we like to use the allegory of the Prometheus Lens to take a second look at everything. Well, hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the hero's journey. Be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Down below, we'll have our banner with all our social medias at their various platforms. Be sure and check those out. That would be much, much appreciated. Well, hey, guys, I got a special guest for you today. We got the man, the myth, the legend. DoeNut is in the house. DoeNut, man, thank you for coming and hanging out with me, brother.
Yo, what up, it's DoeNut. What's happening?
Yeah, we connected a while back. It's probably about a year ago. I think it was Mystic Mark hooked us up, and I went on your show, and then we got to hang out a little bit at the Bro Grove, man.
Yes, that was great seeing you. Very fun. We were on stage together, giving not a presentation, but a conversation on all the weird, strange things happening.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, hey, man, just for any of my listeners that maybe haven't been exposed to your content or what you do, just kind of give everybody an introduction, give everybody, your name, background, shows, what kind of content you're into. Just give everybody a kind of a feel for who DoeNut is if they're unfamiliar.
It's DoeNut. I cover all the Illuminati news. I cover the strange events happening today in modern culture, tying it back to the ancient days, symbolism, Fortean phenomenons, a lot of the hidden mysteries, the occult, symbolism, etymology, and ritual. I cover all that stuff over on the channel.
Nice, man. Well, I guess just kind of like just to pick your brain, what are you actually looking into now? What kind of got your attention and your fascination? Everybody's got their rabbit holes. What is your rabbit hole as of late?
Well, right now it's August 9th, 2025, and tomorrow is a very, very important day for the occult, for Freemasonry, but tying it back to even our own calendar system, to the ancient days in Egypt of the flooding of the Nile, which happened around August 10th and the day centering upon it. This is why the Morals and Dogma 33rd Freemason, Albert Pike, co-founder of the KKK, he dedicated his astrology room to this date, August 10th, and the day centering upon it. I found that lots of rituals happen around this time. Jeffrey was hung August 10th. The Manson Tate ritual went down on August 10th. Robin Williams was hung August 10th. This date continues on even into seeping into culture of movies like Sunset Boulevard, which I believe Billy Wilder was exposing a lot with like an expose in a sense of art, which art in the aesthetics going back to ancient time always showed lots of truth within the symbolism, as he released Sunset Boulevard on August 10th as well. So tomorrow will be August 10th for the Helical Rising of Sirius, which takes place this year on August 11th, which is Hulk Hogan's birthday. Hulk Hogan just passed. On my Twitter, YouTube, I said, look out for the big celebrity sacrifice rituals going back to Hollywood, Babylon. And he passed away. His name in Gematria equals 201, which is very interesting, studying the numbers and the different codes that the elite speak to each other with. Or maybe it's just organic. I don't know, but this is definitely pattern recognition that we spot out and cover. For example, this 201 number is huge. Before the entire world war, every single government, politician, left or right, or in the middle, they all agreed to send us to our rooms and lock down the world, which shows us that we've already entered a global type tyranny. And that was after the fact of the simulation called Event 201. So this 201 is like a weird number that pops up in ritual. So the celebrity sacrifice of Hulk Hogan and Gematria, his name equals 201, that the three celebrities, Ozzy Osbourne, maybe it wasn't Hulk Hogan with 201, maybe it was Ozzy Osbourne, where Ozzy Osbourne's name equals 201. That's probably what it was. So I apologize. It's one of the two. But if you add up their dates in Malcolm, who also passed away from the Cosby Show with 201 episodes, he released a book that was released October 18th, the day that Event 201 went down. If you add up all their ages, it equals 201. So, I mean, we could see these numbers and rituals with John Lennon with 9, Revolution 9, or the Beatles' White Album, their final album, the 9th album, because 9 is a completion number. All we are saying is give peace a chance. 9 words. 9 followed John Lennon, just like 69 followed Jimi Hendrix with, the famous song, Purple Haze, Jesus Saves. That's actually the original title. There's a lot of occult stuff that gets put on to the mainstream. And now the mainstream media is the algorithms. So the algorithms have been infested with the mainstream media. You're not going to get disclosure from the mainstream media ever, and if you do, it's very occult and hidden, like Da Vinci Code stuff. But Hulk Hogan's birthday ending on August 11th, even August 8th. I've been looking into August as we're in August right now, and there's just tons of rituals happening. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Even like you mentioned Albert Pike and his fascination with the date, and he had that in his, would you call it his astrology room?
Yeah, so in the book, Our Nation's Secret Capital, I'm probably butchering the title of the book. It's an older book. The first page,
The Secret Destiny of America?
No, that's Manly P. Hall's book, which is also important to America. But it's another book about the capital and the structures. So America is symbolically founded on the hieroglyph of Sirius, which is a Capitol dome, the Washington Monument, a phallic, which was created way after Washington, and the 5-pointed star. This is the hieroglyph of Sirius. So the Sirius connection is for the helical rising of Sirius, which is super important. It's where we separate the calendar system from the 12-hour type days. So when the Nile flooded, which usually happened in July, but now it happens in August 11th this year, we were able to split the days into half, the 12 and 12, which is probably very occult as well, because you got the esoteric and the exoteric. So on the world stage, we'll see symbols, and it means something for the world, the exoteric, but the initiates, the esoteric, it means something else. Like they're rising, building the statue of Albert Pike. They put out that news today, and they're like rising. It's all connected to the helical rising.
Yeah, man, that's just wild. And does it have anything to do with like fertility? Because I know the the ancients in Egypt, that was their lifeblood. They relied on this for the rising silts to bring the nutritious soil to fuel their crops for the coming year and all that kind of stuff. So do they look at this as like a resurrection, new life, kind of like, Easter and Astarte, that kind of symbolism? Is that tied in with this?
Very important. The ritual rites of sex magic and fertility rites. I'm not 100% sure if it's super connected. Usually that's, like you said, Easter, like spring, springtime. The Super Bowl ritual is very fertility rites based, where we had during the lockdowns, the weekend performed the Super Bowl. And you got to think about how many eyeballs are looking at the fighters fighting, the blood hitting the football field, the soil, all the hot cheerleaders, right? The sexual energy, all charging these fertility rites. But it was interesting because the weekend, it was all guys. It was all male. So it was a same-sex attracted fertility rite, which brought no fertility. Behind the weekend, it was a full graveyard of graves. And then everybody that was dressed up as a sperm collapsed on the stage. Now, I put this out like 5 years ago.
That's wild.
Totally
Especially
laughed
with the
at.
jab.
Yeah, totally laughed at. But whatever. The next couple Super Bowls that went on, we saw Rihanna showcasing after she threw up the Illuminati hand sign that she was pregnant with a baby. And the most recent one was Kendrick Lamar, who sings the song, I Got Loyalty in My DNA. And they were showcasing these red and white people the last 5 years, which I believe are the red and white blood cells. And the Kendrick Lamar one was different. It was red, white, and blue. So the exoteric, we think that's the American flag. But if you connect all these fertility rite rituals together, they're adding a new type of blood into the blue blood, right? We've all heard about the blue bloods.
Making a double helix a triple helix.
Oh, snap. You're going to have to tell me about that, because this new human they're building for 2040, the new Homo sapien with the great genes. We just saw Sydney Sweeney with the great genes in her bell bottoms. Well, Kendrick Lamar also has the DNA great genes and his bell bottoms at the Super Bowl show when he was in a upside down triangle, which resembles the womb, with another woman in a romantic song. And that's when they introduced the blue into it. So I've been connecting all this Gene Hackman stuff to these fertility rites of the new human being built for 2040.
And this new human, does it have anything to do with the like transhumanism? Because I know a lot of people is talking about that, and I recently spoke with this brilliant author. He was from Sweden, Jacob Nordengard, and he's wrote some books covering the family history of the Rockefellers and their connections with the WHO and NATO and just all these world oneness organizations. And his recent book was called The Temple of Solomon, and he kind of got into that and how Madame Blavatsky, Alice Bailey, the externalization of the hierarchy, and that all these world leaders and money makers, the ones in control, pretty much all align themselves with this Theosophy movement. And they say that the Temple of Solomon is not a physical building, but to them it is basically a satellite, a temple in the sky to communicate with the world and try to bring the world into this hive mind one consciousness. And they're basically just waiting on the conductor to connect them all for this thing to communicate with. And now we have Elon Musk and this whole chip thing going on. I didn't know what was your thoughts on that? Is that what you're talking about? This, because I'm unfamiliar with this agenda. Is it the transhuman agenda? If you're someone who still thinks the wild has secrets, who feels stories woven into the wind, this brand's going to hit home. The Soul Squatch makes Squatch-approved gear. And I don't mean that lightly. This stuff is functional, yes, but it's laced with legend. It's for people who believe in what's out there and what it brings out of them. They're hats, beanies, stickers. They're designed by folks who live and breathe the myth. No gimmicks, just real outdoor gear with soul. Go to thesoulsquatch.com and find something made for fellow believers, wanderers, or anyone who still listens when the woods go quiet.
Hundred percent right on. Yeah, it is transhuman agenda. Funny enough, Elon Musk, the poster boy for this agenda, is a man wearing a cross on his hat and an American flag behind him. So, like, we could see who it's being programmed for. The Neuralink and all this was we're entering this new age of man being mixed with machine. And we could see this on old Time magazine articles as well. This is a long plan. And I'm happy you brought up Helen Blavatsky, who Adolf, socialist, would sleep with her book at night. This is very connected to the United Nations, the UN. They dedicate their meditation room to the Lucifer Trust, like, meditation room full of symbolism. But most recently, Elon Musk, who is the top technocrat. So there's the middle way type politics that I've been learning about through Courtney Turner's work, how they want to get rid, I think it's called third wave politics. They want to get rid of the left and right type paradigm and bring everybody to a centrist, new type of American type party in the middle, but that is extreme. So this is the technocratic agenda. This is why America First parties promoted by socialists. Elon Musk is a socialist, and even all the socialist symbolism being promoted by Kanye West at these Super Bowls or whatever is just getting into the psyche of the masses symbolically, because symbols control people. If you don't think a symbol controls people, wear a swastika into a synagogue and you'll see how much it controls people. Or just post a Star David on Twitter and see how crazy people will start going haywire. Because symbols are connected to our autonomic nervous system. It's our body. It's different than brainwashing and mind control. It's actually belief system control. And this Elon character, who has a Vril staff, he betrayed President Trump, and he came out, just totally started his new party. This is all a long plan being stirred by Peter Thiel. Elon Musk, he's not the pulling the strings. Peter Thiel's pulling his strings, and there's people pulling Peter Thiel's strings. As he, is the steering committee at the Bilderbergs. And Elon just built a new cafe, the Tesla Diner, in the heart of Hollywood. And Hollywood, California, is where the root race, the sixth root race of Helena Blavatsky is going to come out of California. The first motel was built in California as well. So the whole motel industry was built by an occultist, which is a new thing that I learned that I thought was super interesting. But California is the culture, right? It's where the culture spreads worldwide. It stems from California, then it spreads worldwide. So California, very important, and there's a lot going on there with the new smart cities, with the Olympics, with the fires and all that. But yes, you are absolutely correct. It's the transhuman agenda.
Man, that's wild. And even like how you had mentioned Blavatsky, a lot of her followers centered in California, and you're right, because they wanted to be plugged in to this machine. And of course, you have Hollywood, that's the wood used by the magicians for their wands and their wizardry. And like you said, that it's the music, it's the TV, all that stuff's there. So that is definitely a prime place to be if you have a message or agenda that you're trying to push. But I didn't know that until I'd read some of Jacob's books, and he kind of touched on that. And I always thought Blavatsky and Alice Bailey were just, the same. But it wasn't until I read his book that he said that Alice Bailey was in California in this hub of this cult, whatever you want to call it, like you had explained. But basically, she come forward with a new vision. Basically, she said that the hierarchy had exposed themselves to her and told her all these new revelations, and basically the well, what you call it, the people in control of that group basically seen her as a heretic, and she was expelled and kicked out. So what did they do? They ended up going east and set up shop in New York. So you kind of have like these two magnetic poles of culture and control, and this whole push and pull, tug of war, and then out of that was the Lucifer, trust.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, there's so much occult stuff going on with the etymology of New York being the New York. The headquarters of the Roman Empire was in York. So it's the New York. And then you got California, and it's like the two sides. You're right, with like some sort of magnetic pole with the Hollywood. Yeah. I learned that from Jordan Maxwell. The Holly tree of the magical wand, going back to the Druids, that's the wood of a holly tree, Hollywood. Wand Harry Potter has a Hollywood magic wand, and they're the script writers. They write the script for what's to go down.
I've spoke with Brian from Demon Erasers, and man, he can get off on a tangent, man. He can get up on a soapbox on some of the wording and etymology of some of that stuff. He goes into the Hollywood and you're watching a program, so you're being programmed, and the television, you're being told a vision, and all this kind of stuff. It's right there in your face. But like you said, you got to, who was it? Was it Manly P. Hall that said when the masses learn the language of symbols, then all will be revealed?
I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, they put this stuff right in your face. And even from like a Christian standpoint, I've heard people say it, and I think it makes sense to me, is there's like rules of war or codes of conduct. Even like, us, when we have physical wars, it's kind of like the unspoken or unwritten law that you don't attack churches, you don't attack hospitals, and you spare the innocent. These are kind of like rules of engagement for war. So they talk about on the spiritual side, the esoteric side, you have the same thing. And like these people or these entities, like contracts, they have to tell you what they're doing, and you have to consent, or in the very least, you not opposing it is giving your consent. So you have these guys just using the words and putting it right in your face and doing the television and the songs, and all of us are just so desensitized by it, and we're like, oh, that's just for entertainment, or oh, that's for shock factor. But no, I mean, if that is true, then yeah, they're definitely telling you what they're going to do. It's just you're not taking them seriously.
Alfred Korzybski wrote another quote, like that Manly P. Hall quote, that who controls the symbols controls us, I believe. And he did these studies on priming. He also worked with the socialists, but then he said, no, I don't like this, which a lot of people did. Heidegger did that as well. Henry Ford, I believe, as well, a little bit. I know he had some sympathies with them, probably. I don't know.
He was a theosophist.
Oh, there you go. So this guy, Alfred Korzybski, breaking down the symbols controlling us, he did his studies on imprinting, which is different than brainwashing. Imprinting, this is why all the famous sayings, show me the boy at 7, I'll show you the man, because it gets set in the autonomic nervous system. And the symbols, while we're growing up, the American flag, Merc, the hockey team in Canada that you love, or the 2 football teams that your dad's wearing the freaking Cowboys jersey or whatever. These symbols, or mostly like religious symbols, that's probably the strongest one. These symbols are imprinted into our body, into our nervous freaking system. So when it's shown, it controls our bodies, like, because it goes into the imprinting, because brainwashing didn't work with MK Ultra. If you had a strong belief system with like beliefs, like the placebo effect, we've shown mankind has shown that placebo effect works. You just tell somebody this will work, and if you believe it, your body believes it, and then it works. So belief systems are so much different. And my new term is belief control instead of mind control. And what's happening now to erase the Abrahamic faiths that have been programmed, in a sense, if we're talking about programming, right, into our nervous system, how do we reprogram a belief system? Well, you got the Timothy Learys and the John C. Lillys. And I read this in Robert Anton Wilson's book, Prometheus Rising, since we on Prometheus podcast, Prometheus Rising, that to reset the autonomic nervous system, you got to do some mind altering chemicals. This is why you got influencers pushing microdosing of psilocybin. They're not really promoting full blown, have a fun trip. That's saved for the cult. The cult gets to do that and go on murderous rampages or whatever they do, in orgies. The people, they're telling everyone to microdose, because while they're microdosing, they're resetting their autonomic system, their belief system, by nudging. Nudging is the way how you change the public opinion. Cass Sunstein wrote a book on it, Nudging. He was also awarded by Obama administration regime to high levels of position of power because of his work on flooding the conspiratorial movement with other nonsense. Once the tragic events happened in New York on 9/11, he wrote this essay on flooding the truther movement with just total psychological operations. And the truther movement is nothing but a huge psychological operation that I fell down so many bad rabbit holes. And I'm climbing my way out of it. And then I jumped into the donut hole, and now I'm like in the donut hole, which I like a lot more, because
at least you get the sugar high.
Yeah, well, the sugar high is going to lower your sex drive. So stay away from the donuts. Stay away from the donuts. Yo, donuts makes me go nuts.
That's funny.
Sorry,
man.
I'm ranting. You just getting me excited. You are saying all the words that get me passionate. And
you're welcome.
That excitement is what you got to follow. If you're a content creator, you get some sort of passion and excitement. You follow that if you're a content creator. I don't know how it works in the real world. All I do is just content creation, art, films, podcasts. And how do you stay inspired? How do you stay inspired to make so many different videos, by following that? Because then it's not a job. It's a vocation in a lot of ways. I know I'm probably getting words mixed up. I'm not smart. I'm trying to get wicked smart up in here, dog.
No, man, I agree, because it's like, even like scripture says, no one knows thine heart's own joy. So if I just did like that live talking about the 6,000 subscribers. I said, a lot of people see these podcasts and enjoy them, and they're like, hey, I could do that. I could get all kinds of followers and make all kinds of money. They have all these false preconceived notions, and then they get into it. That's why, 85-90% of the people that start a podcast don't make it past the first year, because they don't realize all the work, all of the time and research, recording, editing, sending emails, getting guests, and like you said, just constantly coming up with new material. It has to be a labor of love. You have to be coming in this because it's something you love and you enjoy the conversations with other people. And like you said, you get excited because when you actually sit down with someone, they're not just a talking head. They're a researcher like you, and you guys just feed off each other. It's like, electricity bouncing off water. The water just conducts it and takes it, on down the road. So when you get with somebody that's a content creator, researcher like you, and you share the same passions, you know, if that's hard to find in the real world. So when you find that, man, you relish in it, and you just kind of feed off each other. And it's a amazing experience in conversations when you can find those happening. It's like sparks on a fire. Hey guys, it's no secret that every single day your dollar loses its value. If a man invested $1,000 in silver in the 60s, today, that same $1,000 would have magically turned into almost $30,000. Silver and gold only continues to increase in value. If you have a 401k or money sitting in savings, that is just a number in a computer system that is one EMP or hack away from being deleted forever. I've recently teamed up with Cornerstone Assets and Metals and started investing in gold and silver myself. And I highly encourage the listeners, if you have money in savings just sitting there, invest it in hard, tangible assets. The same thing with your 401ks. Take a 20 to 30% cut of that 401k, that number in a computer system, and invest into hard, tangible assets that is proven to only increase in value. Be sure to check out the link in the description or the number on the screen, and be sure to tell them that Doc Brown from Prometheus Lens sent you. Torch is high, guys.
Yeah, it's life too. You know what I mean? Like, we are surrounded by death cults that just want to die. You know, they're just death cults, and that's what they focus on. And I would say most of the world loves this. It's fascinating. You know, death. It's weird. It's like we're all promised two things: taxes and death, right? And that's something interesting too, is like knowing that I only have a little bit of time on Earth is sort of like a cool thing, because then it's like, oh my goodness, there was a Secret Society movie with Robin Williams, Seize the Day. Do you know that movie? They wear lipstick and go in the Masonic caves and do rituals.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Captain, my captain. You don't know that? It's a good movie. I watched that film for the first time, and I was like, I'm going to reach out to Jordan Maxwell. And then I did that. I was scared to. I'm always scared when I reach out to people, ask them, because I don't feel like I'm good enough. There's a lot of insecurities there. But life, there's a, we could see it with the death rates of, not death rates, but the birth rates collapse, you know, where people aren't having kids anymore. People don't want to have kids. I don't want to bring kids into this world anymore. You know, that we see this worldwide. I mean, in South Korea, all over Japan, everywhere, you know, because I feel like it's sort of interconnected. And that doesn't mean like you got to have kids. Some people are on a spiritual journey where they're focused on God or their work or whatever. But the masses, so-called NPC kind of masses, you know, they're like, what the heck are they doing? I don't have those thoughts all like organized right now, but the life energy is very hated by people of the death cults. So
Yeah.
smiling, passion, excitement like that is frowned upon. And it doesn't go viral either.
Yeah. And like you said too, I think it's part of this global agenda, because what have they done? They've programmed us, they've nudged us through pop culture, through movies, through music and all these things that, you know, basically children are a nuisance. They get in your way. They stop you from achieving your goals and chasing your passions and your dreams. And they try to push you to, you know, be successful and work hard and do these things. You can accomplish your goals. And they kind of paint it, in my view, like children are, it's so 1940s, you know, and they get in your way. They stop you from accomplishing your dreams or focus on you, you know, the kind of selfish mentality. And, oh, you can have kids, you know, later after you accomplish all your goals. And of course, by the time, if you are fortunate enough to accomplish your goals, you're too old and you can't have them anymore. And then on top of that, there's another layer. The whole Theosophist movement and these elitists, what's their number one concern that they always talk about? Population control. You've seen it on the Georgia Guidestones, and Bill Gates talked about it. So these elites think that there's just a limited amount of resources, and all these peasants, bottom feeders, are competing for the resources that they need because they're important. So therefore, the people need to stop populating. That way the resources go farther, and the elites don't run out of their resources. And a lot of people talk about that pokey thing. I'll use that code word.
Pokemon.
That it killed your sperm cells, so men couldn't reproduce. So therefore, you're affecting the population growth once again. And then all the GMOs in your food and everything else, it's dropping your testosterone and the sperm
And the plastic.
So the plastic. So all of these things are built in, I believe, to try to stifle this population control problem that they think they have. And not only that, I even go farther. I've even told my family, I think they are slowly poisoning us so we don't make it to retirement age, because we are the gears in that system. We're working, we're paying these taxes, paying into 401ks and all these different things. And then when you actually make it to retirement age, you're drawing off that system that you paid into all those years. And they're misappropriating those funds, and they're probably not even there. It's phantom money. It's numbers in a system. So therefore, slowly poison the people to where they can live long enough to work their butts off and pay into this system and feed this system. But by the time they reach the age that they're going to retire and start drawing back on that system, they make sure they never get there.
Yeah, they definitely plan stuff out long term. Like, we're so caught in the rat race of taxes and survival. And while we're in survival mode and going to the stores with our food stamps, we see the magazines that have nothing but the elites, the princes and the queens and kings in America. What is that all about? Or the idol worship and idolatry of all the different celebrities that are just mind controlling the populace. And the point of crisis of the Malthusian point of crisis, Peter Thiel, Malthusian, all these Malthusians all over the place. Their point of crisis is how to manage the population. That's what it's all about, managing the population. And they do that with famines and whatnot. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they view us as I like Bill Cooper. And when I found his radio broadcast, I went through that whole series of the Babylon series, and I thought that was just fascinating when I was first kind of coming into this, quote unquote conspiracy realm, and then got the book, Behold a Pale Horse. And I love how he called the masses, how you said NPC population earlier, he says the sheeple. These elites, they rule over the sheeple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Cooper, I used to go to the bookstore. I had 2 decisions to make in my early 20s, which is so stupid looking back on it. I was not wise whatsoever, but I was so black and white thinking. I was like, it's either all in or not. And I made a conscious decision to go to the bookstore instead of the gym. I was like, I'm going to go to the bookstore and read. And I was broke. So you can go into the bookstore, get a cup of coffee for $2. I could get $2 from my grandma or something. And I would go to the bookstore and then I could refill it for 25 cents. So all I did was dehydrate myself for over a decade or so and just read Bill Cooper, all the different books. I've been so fascinated with it. Power. I'm really interested in power, real power, and different stuff, and also business too, because I wanted to do the YouTube. Like, my YouTube channel has been around for 11 years, but 5 years I've been doing the Illuminati news.
That's just awesome. Cause I mean, it is, and it's honestly a generation of, instant gratification and lazy people, man. And like you'd said, I love that you actually read and you do your research and you have intelligent conversations on your show and back and forth with your guests. And it shows, because honestly, I think a lot of these podcasts, and it blows my mind that these really big name podcasts and got all these crazy, amounts of listeners and viewership. It's like they're a bunch of talking heads. They're dummies. They add nothing to the conversation. They know nothing about the content that they're engaging with these guests, and it's like it shows. I mean, it comes out in their work that they have no idea what they're talking about, and they're a bunch of dummies. And so it's like people nowadays, it's like they don't take the time to read. If they can't get it in a 60-second YouTube short, or a 30-minute little quick fix podcast on their commute to work, then they ain't going to take the time to learn it. But when you actually take the time and read these books and study these things out, man, like you said, it's power. Knowledge is power. And a lot of people are powerless in this just instant gratification age.
And something I've realized with all the knowledge, reading all the books, a lot of people are smart, right? But not a lot of people are wise. So wisdom, even though we're in this internet age where we can learn pretty much anything, we can order a freaking book, off of eBay and get like this. What? That's crazy. But the wisdom, that's something I want. I want wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a difference between those two for sure.
Yes.
Well, as of late, man, I know you said you've been digging into the rituals and stuff, like with August and things like that. Looking ahead a little bit, and I might be getting ahead, and maybe you've not gone this far, but like with September and October, is there any kind of significant dates as far as the occult and the Illuminati and things like that that's coming up? Because these shows are pre-recorded, so this will come out a little later. So if you got something on those, I'd definitely like to touch on those a little bit and give people something that's more current, I guess, because I'm usually at least 4 or 5 weeks out on my shows. So give them something a little current.
Yes. The ember rituals are approaching the September with the embers at the end of it. Tommy Truthful taught me about this, and this brings fire. So when September ember happens, it's like connected to fire and the fire rituals. So that's huge. And the August helical rising of Sirius is an evergreen. So that is like something that'll stick around for forever, because it's been around. It's in the stars. It's been around since ancient Egypt. Like we have this Lionsgate portal, which is a day of bad luck. I've been telling everyone it's a bad luck because we're in the dog days. The dog days are bad luck. And then this total inversion happens where it's the day for abundance manifestation. Well, what are they freaking abundantly manifesting is bad luck. They're manifesting bad luck. And I get yelled at by all the New Age people, but then I'm proven correct this year, especially. I mean, Hawaii, all the different crazy stuff goes down on 8/8. It's crazy, but September is the Ember rituals. Yeah.
And one thing too, since you brought it up, as far as like the natural disasters and all that kind of stuff, man, this is like the most craziest time ever. And I recently had a conversation with Jamie Walden, and he's been really like deep diving into this kind of stuff, and he's talking about it. And if you're a Christian, man, it sounds a lot like the book of Revelation, man, the birth pangs, because just the crazy stuff that's been happening on the planet these past few months. He talked about how the magnetic North Pole has been slowly shifting, but like the past 2 months, it's moved like 5 or 6 miles, and it's inching its way into Russia, and that it's even messing with the tidal waves. It's messing with the polarity of some of the storm systems. It's causing the high pressure and low pressure systems, that airstream, to even shift. And we're seeing it because what was known as Tornado Alley, Texas, Oklahoma, all that, is now shifting east. We're getting a lot more tornadoes and stuff more east of the Midwest and even into western Tennessee. Are you a hunter, a hiker, or just an outdoor enthusiast? Well, if you are, you know that good quality gear is hard to come by. And finding all-American made is like finding Bigfoot in the woods. Hence the name of Squatch Survival Gear. Head on over to squatchsurvivalgear.com. Use the code PLP10 for 10% off store-wide. All the earthquakes that's been recorded. If people actually take the time to look this stuff up, it's insane. We've had thousands and thousands of earthquakes the past 2 months, but only the big ones get attention. But if you actually go to they got websites for this, that tracks these earthquakes. It looks like a freaking like a push or punch board. All that back in the day when people buy tickets to punch these holes and get these random numbers, try to win prizes. That's what it looks like, man. And if you go around it, it goes completely around this, what they call the Ring of Fire, where it's got the most active fault lines and volcanoes in the world. And even the volcanoes, there's over 80 something active and erupting volcanoes as we speak right now. So it's just a freaking crazy, crazy time.
Yeah, now that Mother Nature's scary. It's super scary. But also, even in the Torah, which is the scriptures, right, in the Bible, it goes, so many things are happening now as well. So yeah, it is pretty wild. We're in a wild time.
Oh yeah, it's a wild time to be alive. And I just wonder too, because a lot of people talk about, is this actual, biblical prophecy coming, unfolding in front of our eyes, or could this quite possibly be the Illuminati and these elites that are trying to manufacture some of these things? And a big topic now is the whole Zionist movement and Russia and Magog and just all these different things. What's your opinion on that? Is a lot of this stuff, do you think, are the elites and the Illuminati trying to manufacture and orchestrate some of these things to try to deceive and scare the people into making rash decisions and things that they normally wouldn't do, like the whole, we're going to produce a problem to push you to this solution that we already have in mind?
Everything happening on the world stage, big events that happen, they're not on accident. They happen for a reason. And then man has his own plans, and man plans, God laughs. I don't know if you ever heard that quote.
Yeah.
That's pretty much from the Torah. And the whole thing going on with the Middle East being in the news constantly, being promoted, you can't go viral unless you talk about it. But you got to talk about it a certain way. If you talk about it a certain way, you will be viral. That place in the Middle East is very strategic to keep forever wars going on. And you got different institutions who want to have claim to that land. And this goes back to the Templars and the Crusades and all the different terrible tragedies that happened during that time. That this place is where you could control the world in a sense through the Mackinder's heartland theory. These are all like crazy people.
Now, what is that? I've never heard of that.
A lot of people haven't heard about it. I've been diving deep into what is going on because I want to know what's really happening, and you're not going to find that truth on a meme by somebody who's going to sell you how to have sex with women course, right? Like that's not, you're not going to find the truth there, but that's where the masses will go for their own confirmation biased. The simplest solution is to blame a group of people. And that's what we see going on all throughout history, because then you don't have to ask any more questions. You could go to bed at night and not be scared. And there's a lot of truth to the first they come to the Jews, then they come to then they came for us stuff there. There's a lot of truth to that saying, because this is the autonomic nervous system belief programming. All the different religions, the belief systems, have them fight with each other and keep it forever battling. That's the easiest way to control. And so, yeah, you can look it up, that if you keep it to stabilize the Middle East, that's what a lot of institutions are doing. That's how they can control the whole world. It's called the heartland theory. It's interesting. But I'm Jewish, and I'm not for that whole anti-Semitism garbage that's out there, because most of it's not even true. And I'm not with that. And so my numbers have dropped drastically, shadow banned, because of that.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. It's so popular now to be anti-Semite.
Yeah,
it's never been more popular.
But it's been popular for thousands of years, and there's been so much work with governments creating this propaganda from the Russia czars, putting out this forgery of the protocols, totally fabricated and fake, to the most recent one, which would have been the National Socialist movement. So this is like really smart government propaganda that are put into memes, and they work. So you always do it. And it's a very fascinating history that takes maybe 20 hours to cover that whole thing. But I've been studying it because I want to know the truth, because the conspiratorial field is full of anti-Semitism. And so I'm like, okay, let me look into it. I'm Jewish. I want to know what's up, and the more I look into it, it's just like topics that I don't talk about too publicly, because people don't want to listen to that. They like, and I'm not here to change their mind. The society is going a certain direction. Keep me away from the society. I'd be in society, but I don't want to be with the crowd, because the crowd is being moved by an algorithm. Everybody is. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And, I ain't going to take up too much more of your time. I know it's Saturday night and you probably got some plans, brother. But before I leave, since we're on this subject, with this war in Iran and with the incoming Bitcoin, and the blockchain system, that is a big thing, a big push for I believe, the elites, the Illuminati, and especially the Theosophists movement, because this is what they want. This is part of this oneness. And one of the sponsors of my show, Cornerstone Assets and Metal, there's a plug for you guys.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. He was talking on one of his shows, because he's always following the money and the economy and talking about these things. And he had mentioned that he believed this whole Iran thing was a plan to bust up the opposing blockchain system, that there was another blockchain system that was in the works. I think he called it BRICS. And Russia was in it, China was in it, and Iran was in it. And they were starting to spread their digital currency, this BRICS blockchain system over there. So he said that we went in there to punch Iran and bust this BRICS system up because, and this was funny because he said this before Donald Trump even announced, trying to push this new digital currency. He said, because America is going to be rolling out their own currency and they're taking out the competitor. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that, maybe that hypothesis, and your thoughts on just the whole blockchain digital currency.
Well, first, I've been to multiple blockchain events for decades, like 15 so years ago, I was going to them. And so I learned a lot. And it's just the second layer of the internet. That's what it is. It's like the internet, but it's the second layer, and it's all about a ledger. And what he's saying is quite interesting. I'd like to dive deeper into what he was saying because I read an article by Reza Georgiani, who is wrote about Iran and what's going on, and he's so smart, philosopher. And this article is so incredible. He was talking about once they get rid of the Ayatollah and all that. That the new plans that they should implement in Iran is to mine for Bitcoin because of their oil.
Oh, wow.
Because Iran was the number one Bitcoin miner for a long time. So that was interesting, just kind of listening to what you're saying and all that. When we were at the Bro Grove, I don't know if I talked to you, but everyone was, crying and scared of war during this. But most people don't have, a conception of how people in the Middle East think. It's nuanced. And I told everybody, this is not a war. This is like a precision strike, and it'll be over on the 24th. I even posted it. It's public. It's on the ledger of YouTube and the Googles, because that's a Knights Templar day. So I picked that day. It's going to be over, and it was over. The ceasefire happened on that exact day. The only thing I was wrong about was I was certain that they were going to free the Iranian people from the regime, because the Iranians, they want to be free from this regime. And Israel was doing their precision strikes, and then Trump sabotaged it. So President Trump, but I don't know, maybe he didn't. Maybe my dad always told me, like, I'd be pissed off because we got the freaking socialists rioting at the mall with Jake Paul. And I'm like, why did the police like escort them into there to let them steal from Arizona businesses? And I was very angry about this. And then he was kind of like telling me, like, yo, sometimes like they have insurance. Maybe it would have been worse off if they tried to stop it, so there's other things in play, and I'm not that smart about. But yeah, I'm probably all over the place, but it's interesting stuff. I'd like to listen to what that guy had to say.
Yeah, it's
because
Terry
gold and
Saka.
silver's up.
Yep, Terry Saka. He's got I can't remember the name of his show, but he's the CEO of the Cornerstone Assets and Metals. And he does like a weekly podcast and show on YouTube, talks about all this kind of stuff.
You gotta send me his link. Yeah, that's cool. I like gold. I like silver. Send me your Bitcoin. You got some Bitcoin, send it on over. That's how I started my company. Was from XRP got sued by the SEC, and I'm like, how is an NWO coin being sued by the SEC? This is a total show. The ticker was on Fox News. Like, why would they do that? So it was at 19 cents. I put all my money on it, which wasn't a lot of money because I've just been broke forever. And it went to like $2 from 19 cents. I sold it, and I started DoeNut Factory. So I don't hold anything.
Listen.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you for coming on, dude, and sharing your time with me. I definitely appreciate it. And this was the first, hopefully the first of many. I'd love to have you back on and pick your brain and take some deep dives on some of this stuff, and share your heart's own joy with me, because it's my joy also. But man, for anybody that maybe was doing the dishes or folding the laundry, wasn't paying attention at the start of the show, or maybe tuned in late, let everybody know, man, where they can find your work, your websites, merch, shows, anything you want to plug and direct the fine people to your great content and merchandise, man.
Thank you. You're the best. I appreciate you having me on and listen to me just spew out all this nutty nonsense. You can find me at DoeNut, DoeNut. DoeNut. I'm on YouTube. Go check out my YouTube.
Nice, man. Well, hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to check out his stuff. You will definitely be informed and entertained at the same time. As you can see, this is a very colorful and funny guy, but he's got the knowledge nuggets to back it up. So you grow your big brain, and you also laugh. You know, laughter is always the best medicine. But hey, guys, just remember, the difference between the known and the unknown is the journey. So enjoy your journey and have some donuts on your way.